That's the last one.
Ashgrove said forever, so I guess we're the ones who found out what that means.
Twine snaps between two fingers. That's the last one, the clerk says, sliding the drawer shut behind her. Ashgrove said forever, so I guess we're the ones who found out what that means. Ellery Fenwick doesn't answer. He's already turning the top envelope over in his hands, thumb tracing a stamp pressed hard enough to dent the paper, returned to sender. 60 more, just like it sit bundled below. His phone buzzes against the table. He answers without looking at it, eyes still on the stack. Denise, if you're calling about the Whitfield closing, it'll have to wait. A pause. No, actually, before I forget, if anyone from the office asks, tell them Earned Love handles this one personally. No junior associates near this box. He sets the phone down, unfolds a square of tissue paper, and goes still. 3 hospital bracelets, small enough to fit around his own 2 fingers. One surname printed across each in block letters that doesn't match a single name in the hospital's intake records. Ashgrove. He flips through 3 more envelopes. Same return address every time. T. Marlow. Same addressee. In handwriting he'd know anywhere after 30 years of watching it sign wills. Mr. Callum Ashgrove. Do not deliver. Ellery picks up his phone again. This time, his hand isn't steady. He dials. It's Ellery, he says when the line connects. I need you to clear your afternoon. It's about your grandmother's estate. And Callum, it's not about the will. 61 letters were addressed to one man. Not one of them ever reached him. Until now. 40 floors up, glass walls hum with midday light. Callum Ashgrove taps a pen against a spreadsheet projected across the boardroom wall. Which puts us 6 points ahead of projection if the Meridian site closes by August, he says. Preston, tell finance to stop sandbagging the numbers. I want the real figures, not the ones that make the board comfortable. The door opens without a knock. His assistant stands in the frame, and whatever expression Callum expects, a scheduling conflict, a spilled coffee, a reporter asking for comment, this isn't it. It's Mr. Fenwick, she says. He says it's about your grandmother's estate. He says you need to come now. Callum sets the pen down slowly. Now, as in after this meeting. Now, as in he used the word now 3 times. He's already reaching for his jacket. Ellery's office. The bundle sits untouched in the center of the desk when Callum walks in, and he doesn't sit down before Ellery pushes it toward him. Your grandmother intercepted these, Ellery says. All of them, for 6 years. Callum picks up the top letter. His face doesn't move. 36 years of Ashgrove training holds it still even as something behind his ribs starts to cave. He opens it. 4 words, in handwriting he hasn't seen in 6 years. Callum, I'm pregnant. Please call. The room doesn't make a sound. Neither does he. Not for a long moment. Then his hand, holding the letter, begins to shake. A 4-word letter just rewrote 6 years of his life. What he does next depends on a woman he thought he'd lost for good. A dining room, candlelight, the good china out for no occasion anyone's named yet. Callum's jacket sits looser at the shoulders here, his watch a plainer model than the one he wears now. Delphine Ashgrove doesn't raise her voice. She never has to. The Ashgrove name has survived 3 recessions and 2 wars because we do not marry beneath us, Callum. Across from her, Callum sets his fork down. Her name is Tessa. She's not a line item, grandmother. Choose the girl if you want, Delphine says, cutting her food without looking up. Choose her knowing what it will cost this family. What does it cost the family? Tell me one thing it costs. Delphine finally meets his eyes. You'll find out whether you choose her or not. That's how these things work. 2 weeks pass in a single held breath, and then a voicemail plays, the last one, the only one he'll have left. I can't do this anymore. Don't look for me. I mean it, Callum. Don't. A private investigator's office, blinds half drawn. A folder lands on Callum's side of the desk. 2 hours inland, the investigator says. Diners shift in the mornings, bakery at night. She's not living off anything your family gave her. She's barely living off anything at all. Callum flips the folder open. A photo of 3 6-year-olds, dark-haired, unmistakable around the jaw. "Their names," he says. "Ilara, Soren, Ivo." Callum closes the folder and stands. "I need the address." He's about to knock on a door that's been closed to him for 6 years. What's on the other side will change everyone's story, including his own. A rented house, roof patched with mismatched shingles. Callum sits in his car outside it for a long time before he finally gets out and knocks. The door opens. Tessa Marlow's face runs through disbelief. Then something harder. "You have some nerve," she says, and starts to close the door. "I didn't know," Callum says, catching it with his palm. "Tessa, I swear to you, I didn't know." "You didn't know." Her voice is flat, worn down by 6 years of saying this to no one who'd listen. "I called your office 100 times. I wrote to you every month for 2 years. I stood outside your building with a stroller, and your own security walked me off the property. Because your grandmother told them I was, what was her word? Unstable." A small boy appears behind her in the hallway, peering around her hip. Dark hair, wide eyes. The same set jaw Callum sees in every family portrait going back 3 generations. Callum's breath leaves him entirely. "She intercepted everything," he says, quieter now. "The letters. I found out 2 days ago. I have them. 61 of them, still sealed. She never sent a single one." Tessa's hand tightens on the doorframe. "I don't believe you," she says. But her voice cracks on the last word. She built 6 years of certainty on a lie she didn't tell. What happens when the truth finally reaches her? An office 2 floors down from Callum's. Preston Calder is on the phone, laptop open, already typing before the call connects. "Run it exactly like I'm telling you," Preston says. "Mr. Ashgrove has no knowledge of any paternity claim. Keep it vague, keep it legal, and get it out before noon." He hangs up and rereads the draft on his screen, expression settling into something satisfied. "Good," he murmurs, and hits send. A phone screen, held up in someone's hand at a newsstand. On-screen text, stark against the header. "Millionaire denies child support to woman claiming triplets are his." The screen lowers, cut hard to Callum shoving Preston's office door open, the printed statement crushed in his fist. "I never said any of this," Callum says. "I never denied anything." Preston doesn't look up from his monitor. "I was protecting the company, Callum. A woman with 3 kids and a story like that could tank our stock before the merger closes. I handled it. She's not after anything. She's been raising my children alone for 6 years because my grandmother made sure she'd never find me." Something crosses Preston's face. Quick, controlled, gone almost before it arrives. Callum, who has spent a lifetime reading rooms full of people who don't want to be read, catches it anyway. It looks like fear. One flicker of fear from the wrong person is about to cost him more than a headline. What Callum finds next puts everything on the line. Ellery's office again. Past midnight. Documents cover the desk in uneven stacks. Ellery pulls one free, reading as he goes, his voice picking up speed as the meaning lands on him in real time. "There's a clause here," he says, "restructured 6 years ago. The same season the letter stopped and the voicemail went quiet. If you turn 40 without a recognized biological heir, Callum, control of the company doesn't go to a foundation." That's the public version. The real clause sends it straight to... He looks up. Preston Calder. Callum stares at the page like it might rearrange itself into something less true. He's known this existed. The whole time. "Someone helped your grandmother build it," Ellery says. "I don't think it was her lawyer. I think it was his idea from the start." Callum sits back slowly, the shape of 6 years reassembling itself into something he doesn't recognize. The penthouse. Odette Ferris walks in without taking off her coat. "Is it true?" she asks. "Do you have children?" "I didn't know," Callum says. "I found out 11 days ago. My grandmother hid it from me." Odette is quiet for a long moment. When she speaks, there's no anger in it. Something steadier instead. "I've known your family 20 years, Callum. I watched your grandmother move people like pieces on a board only she could see. I'm not angry you have children. I'm angry I'm apparently the last person in this city to find out what your family's capable of. Odette, I need you to hear this." She looks at him. Not as an heir, not as an alliance, but plainly. This isn't a betrayal you owe me an apology for. But it's a fork in the road. Those children exist whether the papers believe it or not, and you can't marry me while you're still figuring out what you owe them. Go find the truth, all of it, then come back and tell me honestly if there's still room for me in whatever you decide to build. She's gone before he can answer. The door closes on its own weight. She just gave him an out. Neither of them saw coming. What Callum does with it will decide everything that comes after. Courtroom, day 1. Preston's lawyer is already mid-objection when the scene opens. Your Honor, there is no evidence beyond the claimant's word that there are 61 intercepted letters entered into evidence, Judge Priyanka Ose says without looking up from her file, along with 3 hospital identification bracelets recovered from the estate of the children's alleged paternal great-grandmother. I think we can manage a cheek swab. She bangs the gavel once. Test ordered. 9 days. A porch step. Callum's sleeves are rolled to the elbow, a shingle gun in one hand, sweat at his collar. Below him, Ivo skips a stone across a narrow creek. It hops twice and sinks. Again, Ivo says, handing him another stone without being asked. Later, same porch, the light gone gold and low. Tessa stands in the doorway, watching Callum and the kids from a distance. You don't have to earn anything from them yet, she says. They don't know what you took from them. Let them just know you're here now. And you? Callum asks, what do I owe you? Tessa is quiet a long time. 6 years of birthdays. 6 years of nights I sat up with a fever and no one to call. I don't know if there's a version of trust big enough to cover that. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm saying I don't know yet, and I'm not going to pretend for anyone that I do. 9 days of waiting are almost over. What the results confirm is only half of what's about to come out. Courtroom, day 9. The clerk reads from a single sheet. Probability of paternity, 99.99%. Callum doesn't move. Across the room, Tessa's hand finds the edge of the bench and holds on. Ellery stands, a second folder in hand. Your Honor, I'd like to enter one additional exhibit, a forensic accounting report. He lays it before the judge. 6 years of transfers from a shell account linked to Preston Calder into 2 offshore holdings, timed to the exact months Delphine Ashgrove restructured her will and Tessa Marlow's letters stopped arriving. Preston straightens his cufflinks, says nothing. The silence says enough. Hallway outside the courtroom, empty but for the 2 of them. Callum's voice comes low and even, the tone that unsettles people who know him well. You knew, he says. You knew for 6 years that I had children I never got to hold. You let me build a life on a lie because it served you. Preston doesn't deny it. He straightens his cufflinks again, the way he does before every difficult board meeting. I gave this company 15 years, Callum. 15 years while you were off falling for a chef. I was never going to just watch it hand itself to children who didn't even know your name a month ago. They're my children, Callum says. And because of you, they grew up without a father, and I grew up believing the woman I loved chose money over me. You didn't protect this family, Preston. You gutted it. He walks away before Preston can answer. One confession just ended a 15-year career. What's left standing is something no one expected. A family, finally allowed to exist in the open. The same porch, the shingles. Callum patched himself, now weathered a shade darker. Fireflies rise in the dimming yard. Alara, taller by a head now, chases one with both hands cupped, Soren close behind her, laughing. Tessa sits on the step beside Callum, a mug warming her hands. I'm not going to promise you something I can't guarantee, she says, but I watch you with them, and I don't see a man performing for a courtroom anymore. I see their father. That's not nothing, Callum. That might even be enough someday, to be something else too. Callum doesn't push for more than that. He stands, rolls his sleeves back down, and walks out into the yard, cupping his hands the same way Alara does, joining the chase.